Oh boy, that escalated quickly. Do you see that dude on my very left? Yes. This is a dude that led the New York Knicks to the playoffs for 4 out of 5 seasons. The first year as a head coach, he was a first round exit against the Atlanta Hawks in 2021. Did make the playoffs in 2022 and made a splash move to get rising star guard Jalen Brunson from the Dallas Mavs. Made the trade for Josh Hart. They ended up getting 6 gamed in the second round by the Jimmy Butler-led Miami Heat in 2023. And then, unfortunately, they lost in the second round again, even though they got Dante DiVincenzo and OG Anunoby. Um, he, they ended up losing in a game 7 against the Indiana Pacers. What happened this year? They won 6 games against Detroit, 6 games against the Celtics, but unfortunately, they got down 0-2, and they really never recovered despite their wins in games 3 and 5. And less than a week later, well, actually, not even less than a week later, like because I'm recording this, and it was like literally 3 days since I released my Pacers going to the NBA Finals vid. The New York Knicks have given Tom Thibodeau the boot. What do I think of this? I did say in my series recap vid that the Knicks should go ahead and fire him because I feel like the thing about Tibbs is that yes, two things can be true. He was one of the main reasons why the Knicks got back into basketball relevance because for the longest time, I mean, bro, the first time I got into basketball, the Knicks were one of the worst teams in the league. You feel me? And then the 18 win seasons, 15 win seasons, they were the biggest laughing stocks in the NBA. Tom Thibodeau was basically their floor raiser because yes, he did help the Knicks become more of a defensive minded team. And even though he won a ring with Doc Rivers, he never won as the main guy. But he did establish a culture that you could argue that helped him keep his job in Chicago for a good amount of time. And same with the Minnesota T-Wolves. Unfortunately, the T-Wolves, that was just an ugly fallout waiting to happen anyway. So, but even in spite of, Tom Thibodeau helped teams get winning records every single year. Look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, for example. I don't want to say he turned that franchise around, but he did. He was one of the main reasons why they even got into the playoffs, and they were the third seed at one point. You look at the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls went to the conference finals in Derrick Rose's MVP year, and once they made it back into the playoffs, the Bulls put on a show. But even with that, there is a recurring theme that has occurred with not only Chicago, not only Minnesota, but with the New York Knicks as well. Tibbs grinds out his starters for no reason at all during the regular season. He's playing guys like Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. Basically, the starting 5 plus the 6 man. He's giving those guys 38 to 45 minutes a game. Look no further than the Derrick Rose injury in 2012 in Game 1 against the Philadelphia 76ers. I am still mad at Tom Thibodeau for playing Derrick Rose until like the final 2 minutes where Derrick tears his ACL and Derrick was never the same player. So you just look at that standpoint. A lot of people are pointing fingers at Coach Tibbs then. Some are even pointing fingers at Coach Tibbs even now because you could tell in that Game 6, Jalen and Cat, they were all looking very gassed. And you can also credit Indiana's defensive pressure on both Jalen and Cat because they wore those guys down, man. So I will not discredit Indiana's defense, like I said. But that is for my series recap vid. I just want to make the focus about Tom Thibodeau. Now, what are my personal thoughts about this? Number one, I could see why people say it's kind of unfair to use him as the scapegoat because, after all, like I prefaced, he did help the Knicks. He did help bring the Knicks back into basketball relevancy. So I understand why some Knicks fans got upset. But at the same time, we have to look at it this way: when you're overplaying your starters 40 minutes a game and not even utilizing your bench until it's way too late in the series, chances are you are not going to fare well. You simply won't fare well, right? Especially since he inserted DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet when those guys they should have gotten minutes from the get go. He for some reason he didn't utilize Precious Achua during the series against the Pacers, especially when he made that move to bring Mitch Robinson next to Karl Anthony Towns, and Karl Towns plays the four like he did with the Minnesota Timberwolves when they got Rudy Gobert in 2022. So that type of stuff made little to no sense to me, bro. It's, again, at the simple fact that Tibbs barely plays his bench at all at any point in time. It was only until they went down 0-2. And speaking of which, I knew that bad things were going to happen to the Knicks, not just for the series necessarily, because they probably still could have come back and win it. But I'm just saying, for the sake of, or not the sake of, in the context of Thibodeau getting fired, you can also look no further than that game one. Game one was where, okay, Indiana looked tired. They looked like, they looked pretty beat or whatever, defeated, because they kept on fouling 3-point shooters. But they made a massive run with Jalen Brunson on the bench. Now, I'm not saying, once Tibbs put in Jalen Brunson, it's automatically Jalen's fault that they lost the game. But when they were up 17 with 3 minutes to go, Aaron Nesmith hits 2 threes. You got to call a timeout then and there. But unfortunately, Tibbs did not call timeout until Nesmith hits his 3rd three. And the reason why it's like, okay, yeah, 2 3 are more than 2s, right? Shaq even said that once Nesmith hits those 2 threes and you feel like the momentum shifted, you got to call timeout then and there. But as soon as Tibbs called a timeout with 34 seconds to go, when Nesmith hits his 3rd three, things were already going bad for the Knicks, right? So, and also, y'all had a 17-point lead with like 8 minutes to go, bro. You had a 14-point lead with under 3 minutes to go, and you still blow that, and you still blow the game, and as a result, you blow the series. That series was basically decided after game one, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. And Tibbs did not do anything, even in game two, where, okay, you went up yeah. You got down 1-0. You did not really make adjustments to counter what Tyrese Halliburton, Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner. You didn't counter what those dudes were doing until game 3. Because Tibbs was resting on his laurels. Okay, this is what we did against Detroit. This is what we did against the then defending champion Boston Celtics, and we beat those two as a result. But not all teams are created equal. Okay, sometimes you gotta tweak your philosophies, and that was one of the problems that Laker fans had with Darvin Ham. 0 adjustments made to Nikola Jokic, and to an extent JJ Redick this year too. And JJ really never made adjustments to what Chris Finch and Edwards and the Minnesota T-Wolves were doing to the Lakers in the first round. But now that the firing of Tom Thibodeau is official, who's going to be the New York Knicks' next head coach? I may dive deeper into this once the finals are done, or maybe perhaps not, because they could hire a new coach as soon as next week while the finals are going on. I may do a quick video, or I may talk about it when I'm covering the Pacers Thunder NBA finals. I may do that as like a side note and like my early thoughts or whatever. But I think one thing the Knicks could do to hire Thibodeau's replacement is to hire someone like Mikey Malone. Obviously, Mike got a lot of pushback for not playing his bench starters in the 2024 playoffs, but people got to understand, yes, Reggie Jackson and Justin Holiday can ball, but the problem is when those guys were in the lineup, Tibbs, they were just not that reliable to be Jamal Murray's backup or Michael Porter Jr.'s backup, and obviously you had Julian Strawther and Peyton Watson. They could have used them, sure, but I think with the departures of guys like Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, Mike Malone didn't really have a bench to go to. So I can't really say Mike Malone and Tibbs are very similar, because realistically they're not. It's just in hindsight, when you look at that Minnesota T-Wolves series last year, yeah, it's a bad look for Mikey, but the thing is he really didn't have a bench to go to, because none of the guys that he played off the bench were all that reliable. You feel me? Like, I think Mike Malone could be not necessarily the savior, but he could definitely raise the ceiling for this Knicks team. And I think you look at how he utilized players like Kentavious Caldwell Pope and obviously other players. Shout out to the real Nuggets fans if they remember these players, Gary Harris and Torrey Craig. You could apply those same type of roles, and Michael Porter Jr. too, and Aaron Gordon. You could apply those roles to guys like Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Mitch Robinson, and all those guys. And obviously letting Jalen and Kat do their thing. But the one thing I will say that about the Knicks where I cannot blame Tom Thibodeau for this. Yes, he ran a lot of drop coverage, which was stupid. But Karl Anthony Towns, his drop defense was absolutely abysmal. Like, the dude was just awful coaching, covered this very well. Tyrese Halliburton got into the lane every single time. And that was, and again, I addressed it in my Pacers video literally a couple days ago, where, dude, why are you dropping back when you know the Pacers are looking to score every time you drop? You did the same thing with the Minnesota Timberwolves last year, bro. You did the same thing then, where you allowed Kyrie Irving to turn the corner, Luka to turn the corner, and or if you didn't allow him to turn the corner, it was a 2-on-1 every single time. It was the same thing here. Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Thomas Bryant even, Aaron Nesmith off a cut, Andrew Nembhard off a cut, Tyrese Halliburton floaters in the lane. The Pacers got everything they want, and I cannot really fault Tom Thibodeau for that, because that was more so Karl Anthony Towns than anything. I'm not trying to scapegoat Cat, because Mitch Robinson was as guilty of this too. Jalen Brunson not communicating or not fighting hard enough through screens, and the guys just simply failed to get back. So that's more on the players than coaching, because the players had to get back, and for some reason Pascal Siakam got every run out in the world. Dude was looking like freaking Puka Nacua out there. And y'all know I ride with Puka like that. He was looking like freaking Tyreek Hill half the time. Going down the end zone like it was nothing. A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Pascal Siakam was looking like those dudes. And that's not a disrespect to Pascal or shade at any of those guys I named. But when you're not getting back off made baskets, that's not really a coach's problem. That's on the players on the floor. Because once the shot goes in, everybody start getting back. Everybody start getting back. 2-3 players get back. Why are y'all even crashing the glass anyway? OG Anunoby didn't even get back. Karl Towns didn't get back. And all that other stuff. So that's where I can really defend Tibbs. But the buck stops there. But yeah, I do think getting a coach like Mike Malone could really help the Knicks raise their ceiling. Because I know Knicks fans and the Knicks players themselves, they want to get to the finals. They want to experience it. And most importantly, they want to win it. And why not get a coach that has won more recently with the squad he's had? And, good things could happen. You know what I mean? And I think he'll be a better fit for this Knicks team than Tibbs, in my opinion, especially when it comes to raising their ceiling. I think Mikey could do a lot of good things for this New York Knicks squad. But I don't want to get too much into that. I just felt like I needed to get on here and make a quick emergency video like for the Knicks, because I felt like I've done one too many emergency videos for the Knicks. I did during the Boston series. I did during the Indiana series. But yeah, it's just one of these emergency vids that I do during the playoffs. It's not going to be under like any official like coverage of the playoffs. This is just like a side thing that I'll do, because next playoffs I'll definitely have like more like not episodes, but more videos like this where I just talk about random occurrences that happen in the NBA or how it could be very monumental. I could have done a video regarding Cooper Flagg potentially being, or who I could have done a video on Cooper Flagg, who's going to be the number 1 overall pick for the Dallas Mavericks, but I decided not to. But yeah, I just decided to get on here, give you guys a few moments of your time. Thank you guys for tuning in, and stay tuned for Sunday, where I will be officially dropping series recap episode 13, where I talk about the first 2 games of the finals. Again, first 2 games of the finals, I'll do an episode. Second, the next 2 games of the finals, I'll do an episode, or maybe the next 3, because a lot of y'all are saying OKC in 5. So if it goes the first 2, I'll cover, and the series ends in 5. I will definitely cover the series then. But if it ends up being like a 2-2 series, I will definitely make another episode. And if it goes to a game 5, 6, and 7, or 7, I will definitely do one last series recap episode. But yeah, that's enough for me today. I hope you guys enjoy this vid. That's the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces.